Yes, sir.
Okay. So look at stanza number 11 that starts with can storied urn. So urn means a vase, VASE. It's a kind of a vessel, it's a kind of a container where uh, one can one usually keeps um, the ashes of the people who are dead. Ashes not in the sense of the way in which the Hindu people have the ashes after they burn their people, but Christian in the Christian world, the ashes simply means the soil of the place in which the uh, person was or is buried. So it's not really ashes, but it's a semblance of that. It's kind of an ash. So in an urn, these ashes, these soil is usually stored. So the poet is saying that can stored urn, an urn in which the ashes are stored, or animated bust. Bust means a statue without hands. I think the statue in our college uh, of Maharaja Srish Chandra or Maharaja Munindra Chandra or Kashashwari, Maharani Kashashwari, all these people are commemorated by uh, establishing by people, by their followers, or by uh, the places where they have donated money or place or land. They are commemorated by uh, placing a bust in a glass container. So, but some busts are beautifully crafted and they appear as if they will start talking. So that is why it is called animated bust, as if the bust will start to talk, as if the bust will become alive. So urn, storied urn, or animated bust, back to its mansion, call the fleeting breath. The poet is asking if all these beautiful after death articles like the urn or the bust, statues, can all these things bring back the lost breath of a particular person? এইসব সুন্দর সুন্দর জিনিসগুলো, গোল্ডেন আর্ন, বিরাট বড় স্ট্যাচু, সুন্দর টুম্ব, can they bring the breath of a person back? তারা কি আবার মানুষকে জ্যান্ত করে তুলতে পারে? পারে না. So this is a rhetorical question. Can honor's voice provoke the silent dust, or flattery soothe the dull cold ear of death? Honor's voice মানে অনেকে খুব প্রাউড হয় নিজের কোনো একটা অ্যাচিভমেন্টের ওপরে, বা নিজেদেরকে তারা মনে করে যে তারা খুব অনারেবল, অনেক সম্মানীয় ব্যক্তি, এবং তাদেরকে অপমান করলে তারা রিয়্যাক্ট করে। কিন্তু মরে যাওয়ার পরে when you turn into dust and even your dust becomes silent, of course dust cannot speak, so dust will always be silent. But even honor's voice, even when somebody spits at your grave, even when somebody calls you names after you are no more, all these insults, all these attacks will not bring back the dead to life. Or you cannot flatter, you cannot praise death so that death will spare you. You can flatter, you can praise, eulogize a human being and get something in return. মানুষকে ফ্ল্যাটার করা যায়, মানুষকে অনেক ভালো ভালো কথা বলে তার মন ভোলানো যায় এবং তাদের কাছ থেকে কিছু পাওয়া যেতে পারে। বাট ডেথ ইজ অ্যাবস্ট্র্যাক্ট, ডেথ cannot be bribed, death cannot be flattered, death will come for all and everyone. Next stanza. Perhaps in this neglected spot is laid some heart once pregnant with celestial fire. হয়তো এই জায়গায়, এই নেগলেক্টেড স্পটে, এই কান্ট্রি চার্চইয়ার্ডে এমন একজনকে পুঁতে রাখা হয়েছে, এমন একজন শুয়ে আছে, এমন একজনের এখানে গ্রেভ আছে, whose heart was once pregnant with celestial fire, whose heart once contained divine energy to do a lot of things, a very great persona, a Mahapurush or a Mahamohila like Vivekananda or Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose or someone like that, whose heart was fired, whose heart had the power of moving mountains, or Rabindranath Tagore, someone like that, a great person. But now they are in the earth, now they are 6 feet below the earth, and no matter what kind of power they had in their hearts, they can't do anything anymore. Hands that the rod of empire might have swayed or waked to ecstasy the living lyre. So here there could be in this grave there could be hands, there could be people who have been buried, who have who could have had swayed the empire with their hands. Warriors, great warriors might be sleeping in this grave. Rod of empire means the spectre, রাজদণ্ড যেটা হয়, যেটা রাজা সঙ্গে রাখে, it is an insignia of the empire, insignia of the emperor. সেইটাকেও নষ্ট করে দেওয়ার, সেটাকেও হারিয়ে দেওয়ার ক্ষমতা হয়তো এমন একজন ওয়ারিয়ারের, যে এখানে শুয়ে রয়েছে, যে এখানে এখন রেস্ট করছে, তার কাছে থাকতে পারত। Or maybe a great musician lies here who could play an instrument with his or her hands as if he or she were doing magic, like a person who could play some instrument. Lyre, Lyre, lyre is an instrument, a stringed instrument, and it creates a very beautiful sound. Mellifluous melody issues forth from this particular instrument. খুব সুন্দর বাজে। তো হ্যান্ডস বাড়ি করা রয়েছে, তার মানে হ্যান্ডস তো আর আলাদা করে কেউ বাড়ি করবে না, মানুষকেই বাড়ি করা রয়েছে আর কি। সো either a great musician or a great warrior, anybody could be lying in this grave, but now the spot is neglected. If you have been to Delhi, you might find the tomb of Alauddin Khilji in Qutub Minar, near Qutub Minar. I mean, in the compound where Qutub Minar is. It's unmarked. and only the guides know that this tomb belongs to Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji, who was such a great, big ruler of the Delhi Sultanate. People were scared of him. But no one knows that that great emperor, that great king, that great conqueror is lying in that grave. And people are clambering onto the grave. লোকে জুতো পায়ে ওটার উপর উঠে পড়ছে, ওটার উপর নাচানাচি করছে, এখন তো রিল বানাচ্ছে. And nobody knows that that is the grave of Alauddin Khilji. Similarly, with time, no matter how great you are, no matter who you are, people will forget you. So there is no point in thinking that you are a great person, or somebody is a huge football player or a great film star. Time will destroy all your pomp, all your power. That is what the poem is trying to say. But knowledge to their eyes, her ample page, rich with the spoils of time, did never unroll. But in these unmarked graves are people who have never known fame. এইখানে এমন লোকজনও শুয়ে আছে যাদের যারা নলেজ খুব একটা পায়নি, বা যাদের ব্যাপারে নলেজ অন্য লোকেরা কোনোদিনও পায়নি.
মানে কম যোগদানযুক্ত ব্যক্তি.
হ্যাঁ, মানে হয়তো ট্যালেন্ট ছিল, কিন্তু হ্যাঁ সেটাকে তারা এক্সপ্লোর করতে পারেনি, সেটাকে তারা এক্সপোজ করতে পারেনি. তখন তো ফেসবুক ছিল না যে আমরা পোস্ট করে দিতাম যে দেখো আমি কত বড় কিছু একটা কাণ্ড করে ফেলেছি, বা কিছু একটা বড় কিছু একটা হয়েছে.
না মানে তখনকার তো যুগে মানে কোনো জিনিস একজনের হলে সেটা তো সবার কানে কানে চলে যেত না. মানে তখনকার কমিউনিকেশন পাওয়ার তো এখনকার দিন থেকে বেশি বেটার ছিল. মানে তোমার ঘরে যদি কিছু হয় তো এমনি চলে যায়. তো সেই হিসাবে যদি কেউ অতটা মানে পাওয়ারফুল থাকে, মানে অতটা মানে মিডিয়াম থাকে, তো ওটা তো অন্যজনও তো জানতে পারবে. আমি সেটা বলছি.
No, you see, if you were born in a village and if you were not connected to rich people or powerful people, you would spend your life doing agriculture rather than playing music or playing cricket or playing or doing something that you are talented in. তখন ট্যালেন্টটা ডিপেন্ড করতো তোমার কি কানেকশনস আছে, এখনো তাই, বাট তখন আরো বেশি এই সমস্যাটা ছিল আর কি. দ্যাট your knowledge, your talent will not be judged by people if you are not connected to some big name. The same is true in our society also. Even if you are talented, and even if there is Facebook, but still if you do not know the right people at the right places, your talent will go waste. No one will know you, no one will actually remember you. And the problem or the good thing about Facebook or social media is that even some people who go viral are not remembered a year later. Who remembers the kacha badam person? What is happening to him right now? Nobody cares. And now there is this Badobati person, and he is a joker, or he is a fool, and people are laughing at him, and thus he is becoming popular. But 6 months later he will be out of the public consciousness. So এখানে বলতে চাইছে যে নলেজ বা riches, property, power, all these things never reached a number of people who were even talented. What you are saying, you're talking about rumors. রিউমারগুলো খুব তাড়াতাড়ি ছড়াতো তখনও, মানে কানে কানে সবার চলে যেত, বাট দ্যাট টু ওয়াজ ভেরি কনফাইন্ড ইন আ ভিলেজ। এখন যেমন ন্যাশনাল লেভেল, ইন্টারন্যাশনাল লেভেলে সব কিছু ছড়ায়, রিউমার হোক বা ফেক নিউজ হোক বা ট্রু নিউজ হোক, বাট ব্যাক দেন true talent, true intelligence was not really known beyond a particular village. And even if you were talented, you had to do you had to work hard in order to earn your living, and you won't have time enough to pursue whatever talent you have. Anyway, chill penury repressed their noble rage and froze the genial current of the soul. This is what I was trying to say. Chill penury. Penury means abject poverty. খুব দারিদ্রতা, ভয়ঙ্কর দারিদ্রতা। এই ধরনের দারিদ্রতা মানুষকে ওদের যে পোটেনশিয়ালটা ছিল সেই পোটেনশিয়ালটাকে কাজে লাগাতে দেয়নি। Even if they had noble rage, even if they were very powerful, even if they were very righteous, they were very talented, their poverty never allowed them to do anything. All that they could do was to worry about what they will eat the next day. If you are always worrying about what you are going to eat the next day, you will not be able to engage in other kinds of activities. We are having this class or we are discussing poetry because our bellies are full with food. If we were supposed to go hunting for food for every day, then we would not have enough time to discuss poetry. Okay. So it also froze the genial current of the soul. The soul, our heart, our mind, is often constricted by our by the way we by our financial conditions. Even if we have geniality, even if we are generous, we will not be able to show our generosity if we are poor. দারিদ্রতা থাকলে, গরিব হলে মানুষ, তাদের যে মনটা হয় সেটাও সংকুচিত হয়ে যায়, ছোট হয়ে যায়। It becomes constricted, and they always try or they always think about how to survive. They do not think about others, they become selfish. But in our experience, sometimes we see that poor people always help each other, and it is the poor who always come forward in a problematic situation. But if that is true, it is also true that the poor people are selfish as well, and it depends upon person to person. So poverty, if somebody is poor, then that person will not be of a very genial mind. That person will have to become selfish, that person will have to become self-centered, and that person will always think about how he or she will survive, how he or she can earn a little on their own and not provide the same opportunities to other people. Full many a gem of purest ray serene, the dark unfathomed caves of ocean bare. This simply means that there are very rich gems, খুব দামি দামি পাথর, দামি দামি রত্ন এমন আছে যেগুলো ওশানের একদম গভীরে পড়ে আছে, যেটাকে কেউ দেখতে পায় না। There is a proverb in Hindi which says that jungle mein mor nacha kisne dekha. I mean, if a peacock dances in the wilderness, no one is there to appreciate it. Similarly, in an isolated village, a person who is talented will not be able to show his talent to the world, especially during this age. We are talking about 1790s. Let alone any kind of social media, there was not even electricity. Electricity came much later. Anyway, and the same is true in our case also. There are so many talented people who cannot do anything because they lack money, because they lack contacts. Recently there was this controversy regarding nepotism in Bollywood, and this web series Hiramandi, there's this actress who is trolled because she cannot act, but she is the niece of a big director, and hence she got the main role. But there are so many actors who will not get to act on stage because they do not have the proper connections. They are not born in high families, or they do not have money. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness on the desert air. Many beautiful flowers, they bloom and then they die without being noticed by anyone, because they are born in a place where there is no one to appreciate them. Similarly, in a village, in a country in this case means village, talented people, nice people, good people will not be known. And even in the cities, even everywhere, in all societies, the truly talented people, the truly good people, nice hearted people are often ignored. They are not given the due, they are not given their share of popularity, or their share of fame, so they are not known. Some village Hampden, that with dauntless breast the little tyrant of his fields withstood. Now, in the introductory class of this poem, I told you that there will be a number of references to English history. Like in all literature, we need to understand a few things, we need to know, we need to be informed about a few things of the place or of the country that we are reading the literature of. So, Hampden was actually the right hand man of Oliver Cromwell. And Zishan, who was Oliver Cromwell, or who is Oliver Cromwell?
Sorry, sir?
Who is Oliver Cromwell?
So idea নেই।
আইডিয়া নেই? আইডিয়া তো দিয়েছিলাম ক্লাসে। Oliver Cromwell was the leader of the Puritans, who were one of the parties
যে ওয়ার
in the
ওই যে
civil war.
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ মানে ওইটা
হ্যাঁ, সিভিল ওয়ারের যে লিডার ছিল, মানে সিভিল ওয়ারে হ্যাঁ একদিকে ছিল অলিভার ক্রমওয়েল, and on the other side stood Charles the First. They were the royalists, and Oliver Cromwell and his party were the Puritans, and they defeated the royalists or the Catholics. And after 7 years of civil war in 1649, Oliver Cromwell became the monarch, or became the dictator or whatever of England. But his right hand man, সব লিডারেরই একটা করে, মানে মোদির যেমন অমিত শাহ আছে, তেমনি Oliver Cromwell had Hampden, and Hampden was a loyal soldier, was a loyal general in the forces of Oliver Cromwell. So his reference is brought here. It could come for a 2 mark or a 1 mark question, that who was Hampden. So some village Hampden, and Hampden hailed from a village. He was from a village in England. শহরের লোক ছিল না Hampden. Hampden was a villager. He went from villages to the London court. So in this village there could be a Hampden. Like we often have some kind of local people who look like, or who are considered to be the local celebrity, or the local Shah Rukh Khan or Virat Kohli or Amitabh Bachchan or something like that. There's always one person like that, who have the similar attitude, or who have the similar attributes or quality of a great person. That with dauntless breast the little tyrant of his fields withstood. So in every village there is one person, in every institution, in every city, in every society, there is one or two persons who fight against tyranny. অত্যাচারের বিরুদ্ধে সবসময় জেতে না হয়তো তারা ইউজুয়ালি, কিন্তু অত্যাচারের বিরুদ্ধে কেউ না কেউ রুখে দাঁড়ায়। And Hampden was a person like that, who was angry at the way in which the farmers were treated by the people, by the king's men. And similarly, even in this village, perhaps there was a Hampden. Hampdener মতন কেউ একজন অত্যাচারের বিরুদ্ধে রুখে দাঁড়িয়েছিল। Some mute inglorious Milton here may rest, some Cromwell guiltless of his country's blood. Again, Milton and Cromwell. Milton was the poet, or Milton was the pamphleteer, the PR person, public relation person of the government of Cromwell. Milton, a person like Milton might be lying here in the grave in the country churchyard, or someone like Cromwell might be lying here. But this Cromwell, the local Cromwell, is guiltless. There is no guilt, there is no blood on his hands, because Cromwell's hands were smeared with blood. কারণ Cromwell লড়াই করেছিল, নিজের কান্ট্রিম্যানদেরকেই ও মারতে বাধ্য হয়েছিল বা মেরেছিল। মানে this is what happens in a civil war, where the people of the same country fight against each other, and there will obviously be some kind of a casualty. So there was a civil war, and Cromwell killed people. But this Cromwell, the local Cromwell, the Cromwell of this village, is guiltless of killing his own countrymen, কারণ ও সেই অপরচুনিটিটা পায়নি। ও পলিটিক্যালি বেশি ওপরে যেতে পারেনি, ও পলিটিক্স করতেও পারেনি, বা ও লিডারশিপ করতে পারেনি। ও চুপচাপ নিজের এগ্রিকালচার করেছে, কাল্টিভেশন করেছে, অ্যান্ড হি ডাইড। Similarly, Milton, mute, inglorious Milton. Milton is a glorious person. Everybody knows who Milton is. But this person who had the qualities of another Milton has not been able to write any poems. So he is lying silently, mute. The applause of listening senates to command, the threats of pain and ruin to despise, to scatter plenty over a smiling land and read their history in a nation's eyes. ক্রমওয়েলের মতন দক্ষ, ক্রমওয়েলের মতন একজন এবল অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেটর, যে অ্যাপ্লজ পেতে পারত, the one person who could have had been applauded for all the great things Cromwell had supposed to be done, or did do. I don't remember. I can't tell which things he did. What were the great things he had done? But he did fight against a number of activities that harmed the people of England, and because the king thought that he had unlimited power and he could do anything, and Cromwell stood against that, but he himself became a dictator later. But he was applauded by the senates, by the members of the parliament, and he commanded them, and he always disregarded any threat that were made to him, that he would be ruined, he would be in pain, he would be killed. All these things didn't matter to Cromwell because he was a very courageous person. He could not, the person who lies in the churchyard in this poem, could not do something that Cromwell had done: scatter plenty over a smiling land. Some people say that Cromwell distributed the wealth looted from the people by the king back to the people. Some people say that, but I personally do not know about this. We need to read the history and what good things he did for England. We need to know about that. But some people say that the king, that he performed the duties of the king very well, and the duty of the king is to provide for the common people, for the public, and he did that. And read their history in a nation's eyes. And the nation, the world, the country remembers the the great kings. People remember Cromwell. His name is written in history. But all the people who lie in the unmarked graves in the churchyard, nobody knows them because they never got the opportunity to become famous. Unlike Milton, unlike Hampden, unlike Cromwell, these people never found the opportunity to become very popular. And yet, the poet is talking about these people, because all the other poets were always talking about the great people. Perhaps in your syllabus you will study a poem called River by A.K. Ramanujan or Ramanujam, and he says that poets find the river worthy of poetry only when it is in full force. Nobody cares about a river which is drying up. Similarly, nobody cares about common people. Nobody writes poetry upon failures. People only write poetry about great people, successful people. But this poem is about the nobodies. This poem is about the people who failed, and yet they find a place in this poet's poem. Okay, so let us stop here today. Let me know if you have any questions.
No, sir, I don't have any question.
Okay, fine. So let us stop here.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.